Hi, ladies. Hi, listeners. Welcome to the Revitalized Womanhood Podcast. I'm having just already great conversation with Wendy Valentine. Wendy, what part of Portugal are you in?
I'm on the island of Madeira,
Okay,
which
yeah.
is
I was going to say
uh,
Funchal, Madeira. I'm trying to think of all the little
yeah,
islands.
yeah. So right here, I'm in Funchal on Madeira, and Madeira, for people that don't know, so it's actually closer to Africa than it is to the mainland of Portugal, which is
I
quite
didn't know
interesting.
that either.
Yeah,
That is interesting. That's really
yeah,
cool. Oh, that means you've
it's a
got some
beautiful place.
incredibly blue water, some beautiful water.
Yeah, I know. I love it. I
So
love it. I love
good.
it. Yeah. So we're gonna
Okay,
have fun today. We're gonna chit chat.
let's get
What are we talking
started.
about? We're
Let's
talking
get
about
started
being
on what we're here for. I mean, I think everybody could just jump into this conversation and hang out with us, and we could just gab about all the things, which maybe we'll just have to do another time. But I want to get to so many amazing, amazing points you make throughout your podcast, your book, all of these wonderful things that you've put together. And we're so aligned in what we talk about. And what's interesting to me is this is going to sound, I don't know. I guess it's however you
Just say
take it.
it.
That's a
Just say
you
it.
problem. I'm just going to say it. But when people, women, men do
Mm.
it too. I mean, the person who taught me like about my community and my podcast and stuff, I mean, he's kind of anyway, don't talk to people who are being experts on the same things you're an expert in because you want to be the expert. And I'm like, but I'm not an expert in anything except
That's not
me. And I'm not
true.
even an expert in me,
I was gonna
like
say, yes, you are an expert in Gina, so that's
I am
not
an expert
necessarily
in the
true.
things I have lived, I have done. And hey, if someone
Yeah.
wants to like hitch their wagon to me, then let's go. Right.
Yeah.
And it's going to be fun. I can promise entertainment.
Yes.
I can
Humor.
promise comedy. through
We got it
through
all.
grief and pain.
It's funny because
But
I actually I came up with a term called two terms that hopefully someday they'll be in the dictionary. The first one is midlifeology, because we've all heard of the word midlife, right? Which
right.
actually is only describing the time frame that human beings go through in their life, which is typically between 40 and 60. But
Mhm.
midlifeology is the study of the human being during that time frame. And then midlifeologists, to your point about being an expert, and that's, I know, I'm sure we'll dive into this, but that was for me becoming my own expert, becoming my own guinea pig, my own midlifeologist, and studying more of myself and what makes me happy and brings me joy and makes me a revitalized woman. Dun, dun, dun.
Exactly. Live
Yeah.
like her now. So did you know that season 2, this is me launching my season 2 because we took a year off. It wasn't technically like everybody in the world doesn't see it as a year off because I still
Mm.
had backup, stuff coming out, but I didn't record. Previously, when we traveled and we're in different countries, I was recording podcasts, which, as you
Yeah.
and I feel today, is painful, like you make it work, but then also
Oh,
you get to
no.
spots where there's not great Wi-Fi, even though, you're in Rome, Italy, and you think, yeah, Wi-Fi means Wi-Fi.
No.
It does not. It does not mean the same thing. But anyway, so I just was like, this last year we had our new baby girl. We knew it was kind of coming to a close, this era of us traveling long term with our kids because the
Mm.
oldest wanted to go back to school. He'd been telling us this kind of, to school, period. And so we knew this was kind of this chapter closing. And so I was like, nope, I'm not doing anything. I'm going to be so present.
Yeah.
I'm just going to whatever.
Good
And
for you.
so, yeah, it was amazing. And guess what? The world didn't end.
What? It did. Oh my gosh, Gina.
The Libsyn was still here when I got back for me to upload new podcasts to. It's
Amazing.
shocking.
Amazing. They will gladly take
That's,
your money.
it's one of the biggest, like, when you learn these aha moments where life goes on without you. And it's almost kind of
I
a
know.
dreary thought, But it
Yeah.
does. You're not that important. You're not as important as you
Mm-mm.
think you are in the
Yes.
scheme of it all, right? And so when
Yes,
you let
exactly.
go of that, like the world's not going to end without you doing the things, what a freedom that is to
Oh,
just
for sure.
embrace.
It's funny because, and I'm sure this is probably the same for you too, like you learn so much from the guests that you have on your show. Like for me,
Oh,
when I
yeah.
have a guest on my
Mhm.
podcast, I'm like, it's like a little mini workshop for me.
It
And I had
is.
someone on the show about a week or so ago, Lacey Newman from Nashville, Tennessee.
Sweetie.
And she said something about with her business where she realized she needed better boundaries within her business. Like we always kind of think boundaries is just relationships and people, but I've even
No.
thought that with where I'm at right now. I've been through so much in the last year, and I thought, you know what? I need a break. So just like you, like I'm going to be going back to the States in a few weeks to hop back
Mhm.
in the RV and to cruise across the country. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to take a good 4 to 6 weeks of no interviews just so I can be present and
Yeah.
enjoy. And I could, yeah. So we need to do more of that, kind of like taking a stand for our
And
peace
it's like
and
an
our well being.
experiment. Honestly, I
Yeah.
posted this yesterday on my stories about, sorry, I have a rogue hair. I posted this on my stories yesterday about w- labels, right? And labels are
Mm.
very important to us. For some reason it is. And so instead of lying and saying it's not, let's embrace it for a minute and say, okay. So the funny thing was my husband and his co-host, they were talking about labels. Now he's like, you go hunting for 2 weeks in Hawaii and your wife is all like, yay, have fun hunting, right? But if you said to her, I'm going to Hawaii for 2 weeks with the boys to hang out, which is really what he wants to do, is just go network with cool guys and hang out, right? She
Yeah.
would be like, no, like that's not happening, right? But because it's labeled, it's guised under
Yes.
hunting. And
Yes.
same with he said golf. He's like, honey, I'm going to leave for 6 hours and go drink beer with my buddies. And she'd be like, no, but it's golfing, right? So we're
I'm going
so
to go improve my golf game. Yes.
yes, and so it's very important that it's labeled in this specific way, right? So
Yeah.
I thought, what about this work we do? What about self-help? What about boundaries? What about
Yeah.
goals? What about all these things? And they have up until recently, I mean, I think they still are labeled as hard,
Mm,
painful,
yeah.
sad.
Oh, I love
It's
it.
right.
I
But what
do.
about it's an adventure? And you
Yeah.
talk about this. You talk about this, and it's meeting you. And imagine
Mhm.
you're your best friend. You're
Yes.
meeting this new person for the very first time. Imagine that. Think about the
Yeah.
place where you met your bestie. It
Yep.
was a festival, it was an event, it was a retreat, whatever it was, and you were just like you and I right now, we're like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
excited to get to know you. I'm so excited to talk to you. I'm so excited, right? And everything I'm pulling out of you and learning from you and you doing the same with me, it's
Yeah.
exciting, it's fun
Yes.
and curious.
Connection.
What about
Connect.
that with
Yeah.
ourselves?
Right. Right. Well, and yeah, I've thought about that too, even just recently, because I've waited 50 years to finally do. I'm 53 now, but it wasn't until I was
Right.
almost 50 that I started really diving into my dream job and becoming an author and becoming an inspirational speaker and podcaster, all of that. So it took me a long time. And now I'm finally here and it's like, I love it. And it does get me through the tough times. I mean, as much as
Yeah.
I work a lot, probably the same for you on all of the things, all of the podcast things. But I love it. And it's the connection that I love the most. And
Yeah.
even when I have like there's a new author or they have a book coming out, I'm like, "Oh, how cool is that? That they get to be on my show and I get to help
And I
them shine."
want to lift
Yeah.
you. Let's
Yeah.
rise together. Let's
Work. Yes.
succeed together. And that
Right.
shows in women who are absolutely happy, at peace,
Mhm.
exactly what we were talking about. Having someone
Yeah.
on that's in the same realm as me
Mhm.
is, yeah, there's enough to go around. We need more of this. We need more
Yes.
of this conversation, topic matter, whatever. Well, I want to, let's back up.
Back it up. Beep,
Why are you
beep.
here, Wendy? Why are you here? No, what was the point of what is happening to me? Where did
Yeah.
I like go wrong or how did I end up here? That's a better way of saying that. How did I end up here? What was happening to you?
Oh, a lot. You want to hear a great story?
Yes, I want to hear a really great story. I'm here for
It's
it.
it's my it's my breakdown story, but the best part of it is my breakthrough story and how I got to where I'm
Mhm.
at right now. So
Yeah.
53, 7 years ago, I was living in Virginia and I was going through my second divorce. Kids were grown and gone. I was unemployed with 150 grand in debt. Not bad. And my body decided to file for divorce as well. I had chronic
As
Lyme
they do
disease.
when we're not
Yep,
listening to
right.
them.
Everything
Mhm.
happens. Yeah, Lyme
Yep.
disease, black mold toxicity, and just for fun, toss in a little menopause because that's always a
Ugh.
blast. And then to top it all off, my brother had just died.
Mm.
And I remember this moment of lying on a cold bathroom floor, bawling my eyes out, and honestly, even wondering, like, am I going to make it to my 50th birthday? And I felt completely powerless over my body, my mind, my relationships, my finances, everything, because everything had just fallen apart. And then I even wondered, did I ever really own my power, right? Did I ever
Yeah.
really have it together? Because it was 30 years before that moment that I was alone and struggling as a pregnant teenager. My first husband died when he was only 26 years old. And for 3 decades, I became an expert at one thing, making sure everybody in my life was happy. Everybody but me. So there I was, yeah, 46 years old, rock bottom, mascara streaks all over my cheeks. And I just really started to question everything about myself, about my life. And it's crazy. I had this wild vision out of the blue. And I think most people in moments like this, like their darkest moment of their life, they see the light, they see God, they see angels from up above. But me, I saw an RV. That was my vision. I didn't see Mama Bessie as an angel from above. I saw a motorhome. And I
Yeah, that's
imagined
definitely not what I would have seen.
I know,
An
right? Like,
RV.
what the heck is that? I do remember, like, well, that's awfully strange.
Mm.
But I can remember, like, really getting into this dream, embodying the dream, and I was thinking, "Wow, like, what it would be like to drive an RV across the country, just me, myself, and I, and just having the greatest time driving into the Sedona sunset." And I even imagine what the RV would look like, black with blue stripes and leather seats and cream colored cabinets. Like I literally just got into this dream. But here's what excited me the most about all of it. It wasn't the RV, it wasn't the gorgeous Sedona sunset or the navy blue Pottery Barn pillows that I had planned, but it was actually the woman in the driver's seat. And it was a woman that was happy and she was healthy, she was financially free, a woman that finally followed her dream of becoming an author and an inspirational speaker. That's what excited me the most. And it's interesting how quickly the critic in your head will pipe right up when you're like, you
Oh,
know
yeah.
what? This is exciting. I can actually do something with my life and make a dream come true. And I looked at myself in the mirror, and the critic in my head was like, please, honey, like you're going to start a new career at the age of 46. You're going to climb out of all of this debt. You're going to get healthy enough to even try. Yeah, I don't think so. And I wanted to give up on that dream, and I hadn't even started. Like, it was literally like
Mm.
I had 2 minutes of this dream, and I was like, "Wah, wah,
You've
wah."
got your devil and your angel right here,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
mhm,
It's
yeah.
exactly what it was, and I realized this was the everything that changed, like, in this moment. I realized that I was at a crossroads, that one road I could go down was the woman that I always had been, living the life that I always had with unhealthy thoughts and beliefs and behaviors. And I'll admit, that road, as dark as it is and as scary as it was comfortable because it was familiar. I knew
Right.
how to maneuver
And
through
you
my BS.
know that you can handle that kind of pain because you have.
Yes.
You
Oh,
have
yeah.
done. You know what to
Exactly.
expect of that.
Yeah. But I also knew that road was slowly killing me. I knew that.
Mm,
And then the other road, the woman that I could become, that woman in the driver's seat that was happy and healthy, and to become her that had healthy thoughts and beliefs and behaviors. And that road was also scary because it was
right.
risky and it was the unknown and it was uncertain. But that road gave me hope. And then I thought, wait a second, staying stuck is exhausting. Starting over is exhausting. And if I'm going to be exhausted, then why wouldn't I go after the dream and the life and take that road less traveled and the road that would lead to this woman right here, right? And it's fascinating that I think as soon as you say yes to yourself, and just like I think on the subtitle of your podcast, it's like stepping into that woman or something like that, becoming her
Yeah.
now. You don't
Yeah. Live
wait.
like her
You
now.
act like her now. Yeah. You say yes to her now.
Yeah.
And from that moment on that bathroom floor, I went to my couch. I opened up my journal to a blank page and I didn't write a to-do list or write about the next job or the next man. I wrote about that woman in the driver's seat in detail, like how she would look at herself in the mirror with love and respect and how she would say no without a 3-paragraph excuse or how she would set boundaries and actually keep them, and a woman that finally owned her power and stopped handing it away to everybody else. And from that moment, 4 weeks after that moment, I got a job offer in Chicago out of the blue, like crazy, selling houses. I had never sold houses in my life. And the old Wendy, the old Wendy would have been like, what? We are not qualified. We cannot do this. But I was determined to become that woman in that driver's seat. And like, how does she think? How does she believe? What would she do? She'd go for the job. She was like, let's go
Yeah.
for it. Let's do it. So I did. And I drove from Virginia to Illinois, took in a U-Haul and started that job. And I was so determined to make this dream come true. Like there's a phrase in yoga called drishti, like when you're doing
Hmm.
a tree pose and you kind of focus a dot on the wall so that you don't fall over, right?
Yep.
That dream, that woman in that driver's seat was my drishti. That's what kept me focused, laser focused. And speaking of yoga, I did meditation, I did journaling, I read every self-help book in the world, I think at this point. I got
Right.
therapy. I mean, I went all out to just, I mean, even for the darkest night of my soul, I plunged in. I was like, let's do it. Let's go.
Let's see what's there, hiding,
Yeah.
lurking.
Yeah.
Open up
And for
those cupboards.
Yep. Yeah, and for 2 years, I did that for 2 years, and I ended up becoming the number 1 sales consultant in my division. Sold over It's crazy, crazy. Sold over
You're like,
40
what? This
million.
is hard.
I know, I was like, "Next, sign here, here, and here, and here. I'm one
You
step
need
closer to
it.
my RV."
Sign it.
Yeah,
Let's
but
go.
yeah, sold over $40 million worth of houses. And needless
That's
to
awesome.
say, paid off all the debt, saved up enough money to buy the RV. And yeah, I ended up flying from Chicago to Nashville to buy the RV on a Friday, and on Sunday, I drove it back. And on Monday, I quit my corporate job and took off across the country.
I
And
love
here
that
I am.
so much. It just
I
rings
know.
so true to my heart. And so just listening to you, and I'm feeling the emotions with you. And that's something that helped me with this because when
Well,
I'm talking to the women on my podcast, my listeners, when I'm talking to the women in my community, when I'm sending any kind of content messaging out into the world, it
mhm.
is all based on emotions that I feel from having these experience, from having these
Yeah.
life lessons, from having these like I talk to women about, they say, when I have enough confidence.
Mm. No.
Um, you
Yeah. Here's
don't just have confidence. It doesn't show
Yeah.
up. You have to do and do and do
Right.
and hurt and fail and stand back up and, oh, that wasn't so bad. And that's how you build confidence.
You're exactly right. Yeah. You don't.
So it's so
You don't
hard for
wait.
me. It's like the
Yeah.
messaging is, how do I get this feeling of exactly what you're explaining,
Mhm.
exactly what I'm explaining, this live like her now embodiment
Mhm. Yeah.
into, how do I make you feel that? I need like a Ozempic shot that's a shot of
You know, that's the one. That's the one
now you'll
GLP
feel
one that we need.
amazing.
That's the GLP that we need, right? Yeah,
That
I totally
is.
agree with you. You can't. You don't. You don't wait to become a confident woman. You act like a confident woman, and then you become her. Period.
Right.
Just like you have to take action. You have to. That's how that woman is created, right? Like, if this glass right here, like if you and I both had a glass of courage, a glass of confidence, whatever, I can't fill up your jar for you. You
Right.
can't fill up mine. And you fill yours up by taking action, by taking steps forward. And even if you're scared, even if, like, I was scared the whole time to do everything, but I knew that the woman that I was, and the woman, the life I was living, it was not serving me, right?
Yeah.
And I had to shed all of those things that were not me, and I didn't even know. I didn't. You hear a lot, be your authentic self, be your true self. And I remember during that
What
time
does
going,
that
I don't
mean?
know who she
Right.
is.
Right.
But I knew what I did not want. I knew what was not serving me. And just like Michelangelo, when they asked him how he carved the statue of David, and he said, I just chipped away at everything that was not him. It's the same
Mm.
for us. Like, get your chisel out, chip away at the stuff that is not you, the toxic relationships, the unhealthy thoughts and beliefs, and get curious about yourself. I mean, you and I were talking about that a little bit too earlier, about becoming your own expert, right?
Right.
Have conversations with yourself. And if you want to be your bestie, become your bestie. Like, have the, like, I coach myself all the time through stuff. I'm like, hey
Yeah.
girl, what you want with this? How are we doing? What's
Yeah.
wrong? It's just constant. But get curious about who you are and who you want to be, and who you want to be is whoever you want to be. It's not, I mean, especially I think as you get into, your 40s and 50s, especially, like, you've done all the things. You've checked all the boxes: kids, career, marriage, house in the burbs. This is your time to go, you know what? What Asking yourself, hey, who do you want to be? What you want? What do
Yeah.
you want to do? Right?
And why? I mean, get so specific about it. Why? Why
Yeah.
do you want to be that? Well, try it out, because that's the way you figure out if you actually did really want to do that. I have a
Yeah.
friend, and I've talked about this on this podcast before. She was actually my very first when I started this business 4 years ago this month, actually. This is our anniversary
Mhm.
month. And she was my assistant, whatever you want to call her. And she was on a podcast talking about, while she was married in this life, and she had all of the things. He was a doctor. She was
Mhm.
the stay-at-home wife. I mean, actually not. She had a job, but still, she'd come home and prepare these elaborate dinners she talks about. And then once they
Mhm.
got divorced, it's just her and her boys in this apartment. And she's like, we order pizza or we have cold cereal. And she's like, it struck me as odd that I thought I used to love those elaborate dinners. But really, what I
Mhm.
loved was, well, and not even loved, I guess, whatever, was the idea that he was impressed with me for doing those things.
Yes.
But really, while
Right.
I was doing those things, I was missing out on time with my kids. I
Mhm.
was stressed because she was full-time, working full-time, and then she'd have to get home and hustle, hustle, hustle. She's got this fight or flight that she doesn't realize she's creating. And now
Mhm.
she's separated herself from it and going, huh, I don't
Right.
actually like cooking dinner. I don't.
Yeah.
I convinced myself that I did. So there is so much of that if we
Mhm.
don't, as women, take the time, know that we deserve the
Mhm.
time to even ask, what do I like? And it's
Yeah.
interesting to me, especially that I have to even give it in this way as write down the things you hate first, because that's the
Mhm.
easiest for women to go
It's
around and
true, yeah.
say the things they don't like, the things they're bad at, or they think they're bad at, or things that bother them.
Mhm.
It's interesting that the negative is the easiest list to compile
Right.
versus if you said, what do you love? What are you
Yes.
good at? What do you want more of? They're like, So I'm like,
Yeah.
fine, like you're saying with David, chip away at the things that aren't you.
Mhm.
But it is
And that
interesting
can
to
be
me that you
scary
have to start with
too.
the negative.
Yeah. And that can be scary as well. I mean, for me, when I was kind of, rebuilding my life and reconstructing everything, I was worried I would end up losing relationships or maybe a part
Yeah,
of me that it was hard to let go of certain things and certain people and I did. I did lose relationships, but then they weren't right for me to
right.
begin with anyways.
My
And if I
husband
wanted
is
to go
actually no,
Mhm.
sorry, go ahead, and if you wanted to be
No, yeah, I was just gonna say, like, that woman in the driver's seat that I wanted to
yeah,
be, one that was actually, you know, finally taking the wheel, literally,
right.
right? W what kind of relationships does she have? Like, what
A
kind of
need.
boundaries does she set? How does she speak to herself? How does she take care of her body? Like, all of the things. And I think that's what's so important for all of us to do, and it's not you just do it one time, we're always in these seasons of life when things are changing, and to kind of revisit it and go, "Okay, who do you wanna be? And who is this woman? How does she behave?
Yeah,
How does she" you we have more power than we give ourselves credit.
yeah.
We're not stuck with anything at all in life. I mean, this is all temporary. So it's like, make the best of it. I mean, just like you guys are like, I love the fact that you're so adventurous, and I am too. And because it's those experiences that you learn
Yeah,
so much about yourself and your family learns. And I just, I couldn't, if I had to go back and even the really crappy things that I went through in my life, the trauma and the drama and everything, I wouldn't change any of it. I love the lessons that I have learned from all of the dark times. Like it
yeah.
has made me into the woman that I am today.
And
And
that's the
so,
difference between
yeah,
someone who's going to be successful in life, and we're using
right.
successful as full life, right?
Yeah.
Not
Hmm.
wealth,
Yeah.
whatever. That's the difference. You can have two people, um, anyway, you can have two
Yeah.
people that experience the same thing, have the same shitty childhood, have the same
Yeah.
whatever, and you've got the one that's like, I'm this way because of this. But you
Yes.
have the one that's like, I'm this way because I will never be that
Yes.
and I will never
Yep.
be affected by that, right? Two
Yep.
exact same things, and it's just changed by mindset and this work that we do. My husband,
Yeah.
I was going to say that my husband, when I started in this journey of, everything we talk about, he said he was honest with me. He said it did ruffle my feathers a bit. Like it did make me
Mhm.
nervous. It did make me question like she's changing. What if
Yes.
she doesn't like me when she changes? What if the
Yeah.
things that she's working on makes her like totally different and I don't love her? Or, we had
Yeah.
to have
Mhm.
conversations like this. And nobody likes if you are I've started talking about the fact that before we lost everything, we had been
Mm.
married for only, like, 5 years, I think. We were later in life, I mean, as far as Utah terms, we were, like, 25,
You
and when
talked
we
her
got married I know, I'm like, we were old by this time. Anyway, so we had been married for 5 years, and that whole 5 years, I was a supporting character in his story. But that's what I
Mhm.
had
Yeah.
kind of been shown, right? That's what I
Yeah.
had been
Right.
and I was fine with it. That's what I
Mhm.
thought I was supposed to be doing. I was the loving wife. I would have dinner ready. I would make sure all of the domestic things were taken care of, but I also had a job so that I could help with benefits
Yeah.
and help with money and right? I was a supporting character. I was helping him build his dream. I was a
Mhm.
supporting character. And that was what I thought was right. So when he came to me after we lost everything $650,000 in debt. How do you think that
Oh,
felt, you know?
ouch.
And no bankruptcy. We paid it all back, but he came to me broken because it took
Mm,
that. It took that kind of humility. It took that kind of vulnerability.
mm,
It took that, you literally lost it all, but he didn't. I mean, the recession, he did. He takes ownership of it, so he's actually really cute about it, but I didn't see it that way. I didn't see it that way. I did not see him as a failure. I did not see him as someone that did wrong by me, right? I didn't see it that way.
right, right.
And he
Yeah.
said, I understand if you want to leave me. And I'm like,
Aw.
okay, you're weird, but whatever. Let's move past this. And because we had friends whose wives were leaving them. They were leaving them in these times. And
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
it's moments like that that I'm like, then you weren't meant to be together in the first place. Like you're saying, these
Right.
relationships were not meant for you. They were not. It's
Mhm.
like a train. We're all on a train. Each of our
Mhm.
individual lives are a train ride. And people get on when they're supposed to get on, and then maybe
Yes.
they get off at the next stop. Maybe
Yeah.
they're with you the whole time. But
Yeah.
they are not meant, if you can look at things in your life as that, like, we don't
Right.
have all the control here. I mean, we do. We got to
I
make our
know. Yeah.
decisions, right?
Yep.
But at the end of the day, it's like, take the will, right?
Yep.
We have to give a little bit to God and say, hey, this maybe wasn't part of my journey, and
Yes.
I have to let that be and let that go and see but be curious about why is fine, but don't hang on to it like a stone that you're dragging along.
Yes, exactly. As Steve Jobs had said, you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect the dots looking backwards.
Hmm.
And for all of us, right, as we look back at our lives, even the bad dots, what we would categorize as the bad dot, if there was something
Right.
traumatic that happened or a divorce or an illness, it leads to the next dot and the next dot and the next dot. And it's always right where you need to be, right? And who knows what that next dot will be in your life, which
Right.
is kind of exciting. And even in my book, I think there's a chapter called The No Plan Plan, the No Plan Plan. Because when I started off on my RV journey, I was like, I don't really know where I'm going. I'm just going to follow the sun.
Yeah.
I had a plan somewhat, but it was also open and flexible, like, ooh, shiny object. Let me go that way, like, And it's kind of like that with life, though, too, right? If we allow that, but not to stay, to your point, to stay too attached to something because we don't have 100% control because we
Right.
don't have control of everybody and everything and the stars and all of it. You have to be open and be like, all right, be a little flexible of what can happen in life. But you have an idea of who you want to be and what you want to do. And you just keep going and keep going. And you have to learn how to pivot, whether something's going good or something's going bad, right? You have to learn to be like, okay, go with the flow of life.
Yeah. Everybody's always like, I don't want to say what's the worst that can happen. I want to say what's the best that can happen. I'm like, no, I want to know what the worst possible said, because we're human beings and that's what we think
Yeah.
about. We're all thinking about the
Yes.
destruction of our lives. So I really do. I love Stop Worrying and Start Living by Dale Carnegie. It is like, it
Oh, I
just
haven't
is
read that.
so good. It is
Oh, where
so
is it?
good. It's just like, are you gonna die from
I
this?
think I did
I mean,
read that
literally, what is the
actually.
worst thing that can
Yes.
happen? Can you lose your husband? Can you lose your
Yeah.
job? Can you lose your yeah, maybe. Well, then what? What? You
I mean,
can
I
find
used
a
to be a
new whatever.
chronic yeah, I was a chronic worrier for
Yeah,
sure. I would worry about everything. And really it's letting go, it's detaching, it's allowing. And yeah, I mean, but worrying is a habit.
it
It's a
is.
mental habit where like, and our brains are, negativity biased. So we just like cling to things that are like, oh my gosh. But you can
Right.
also train your brain and yourself and your body to be, okay,
Yes.
maybe not like a Pollyanna type of approach, but a positive, like, okay. cool, you know? I mean, just in the last 3 months, like a few months, I had my ovaries and my fallopian tubes taken out, emergency for a cyst. Then my dad died. And then I
Mm.
had to end the relationship with my mom. So all of that within probably about 4 months.
Wow.
And like, as I was going through the whole thing, I'm like, okay. Like, that's my new mantra now. Okay. Like, you
What is
just
this teaching me?
you deal with it. Yeah. How can I
Yeah.
grow from this? How can I get through and here's the thing. One of the greatest gifts that I got out of that 7 years ago, lying there on that cold bathroom floor, bawling my eyes out, I know what depression looks like. I know what panic attacks look like. I know what anxiety looks like. I know all of that. I know the darkest part of my soul. I've met
Yeah.
that. And I know how to not go back there. I don't want to go back there. I'm not like putting my head in the sand, like trying to avoid. If anything,
No.
I face things head on now. I'm like, even when my dad passed away, I'm like, okay, grief, let's go. Let's do it. I mean, I didn't when my first husband died at the age of 26, I did not grieve. I didn't have time. I had 2 kids. I was
You were
like,
busy being a people pleaser and taking care of
woo,
everyone else. And guess what?
perfectionist
No,
and
my feelings don't matter. Let's take
yeah,
care of yours. Let's do. It's like
yeah.
when people come to a funeral. I had a amazing guest on here that her husband military died in
Mhm.
action, and she
Oh,
talks about that, how people come to a funeral and they're grieving, and so you're expected to comfort them. And it's like, I I
I
I
know.
I don't, and I'm like, that's what a people pleaser, someone with not good boundaries would do, because someone with good boundaries and someone who knows their worth would
Right.
not feel that way.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, yeah, and then, I can remember right before my brother had gone into a coma during that time, um and I can remember I was packing my bag super fast trying to, like, because I had to fly to Dallas to go be with them, and I remember I passed by the mirror and I looked at myself and I said, "You're gonna grieve this time." I was like, "I'm giving you the
yeah.
gift of grieving," because I didn't grieve for my husband. I was like, "I'm gonna grieve for my brother. I'm going to do this. I'm like, I'm making the time." And I'm so glad I did. I mean, and even for my dad, like it just and for my mom and for my ovaries.
Right.
But
Yeah.
all the stuff, and I like you it's not that I mean, there's no way you will get out of this lifetime without a loss, right?
Yeah,
You just
no.
won't. You're just it's gonna loss is going to happen. That's why sometimes in my niche, my midlife niche, and as I scroll through Instagram, and that's typically the ones that pop up on my feed,
Right.
and I feel like so many people are like in shock, like, "Oh my God, menopause. Oh my God, my body's aging.
I
Oh
had
my
no
God." I'm like,
warning.
"Did you? What'd you
I
think,
never
y'all?
knew this could be a thing.
What? The birds left the nest? Oh my gosh." Like, of course, welcome to life. Welcome, everyone. I mean, you just have to
It's
face it and deal
because
with
it's
it.
because we've been trained and
Yeah.
conditioned to have on these blinders, like
Ah,
those horses that aren't
and just,
allowed to see on the sides,
yeah.
and just react instead of
Yes.
plan, respond, be prepared for, be intentional about. Do I want
Right.
to hit menopause and be a crazy psychotic weirdo? No.
Yeah.
So
I
guess
mean,
what? I'm 40. How old am I now? 44. And I'm 35 now, and no, but it's like, no, I don't want to do that. So guess what? I can start preparing for those things or whatever. Or I have a book here that I need to get you in contact with, Carla Olson. She's incredible. And her book is The Almost Empty Nester. So it's like
mhm.
preparing you for what's coming, moms, okay?
Yeah. And even now for me, I live and breathe for 90-year-old Wendy. Because
Yeah.
I want her to be like, "Thank you so much for taking care of your body, your mind, your heart, your relationships. Thank you for doing all of that for me so that when I'm 90, I can be like, this is great. I'm at peace.
Yeah. Yes. That is my biggest
Yeah.
fear for people is their
Yeah.
deathbed. Have you read
I
the
know.
Deathbed Confessions? I have this fear
No.
for others, and I shouldn't because, like, whatever, you do you, but I do because that's what
Yeah.
you and I, this work we do, it's like we're called to, do I need to bang this into your head? I will. I will drag you
Yes.
kicking and screaming until you understand, right? But it's like, I will be on my deathbed saying, wow, that was a blast.
That exactly. You
That's
know
it.
that quote? Who's that quote by? You know, like the one that I'll be skidding sideways into my graveside with wine in one hand, chocolate in the other, and saying, "Woo, what a ride!"
Yeah.
Right? Like that'll
What a
be me.
ride.
That'll be me.
So
Yeah. Do
good.
you know
It's
the
so
number one
good.
regret? Do you know the number one regret of the dying?
What?
So
I
Bronnie
think I
Ware.
do, but
Yeah. So Bronnie Ware in her book, Top 5 Regrets of the Dying, and the number one regret was living life for everybody else.
yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And
Absolutely. And that is
that's
why I literally started this community, this
mhm.
movement for that reason, with that woman in mind. Because I
Mhm.
mean, I love my mom and I don't want her to feel disrespected at all, but I was raised by that
Mhm.
woman. And I
Yes.
have her recorded a podcast episode with her. She was one of my first, of course. And she raised 8 kids after almost
Mm.
raising 5 of her siblings because my grandma had cancer so young. And
Oh,
so, and then they were farmers. So she, you know, they made their own
yeah.
clothes, made
Good.
their own food, whatever. And then got married and into 8 kids. Bam, 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 bam. And I said to her, what would you go back and tell 16-year-old Evelyn, right? And she said,
Mhm.
you don't need to rush into things. You have plenty
Mm.
of time. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
you have plenty of time. Even though on the opposite end of that, my husband's, our motto is one life, so live. I mean, you know, we have
Mhm.
embraced because his father died at
Mm.
28, 27, 28.
Ah, yep.
And one life, so live has just been ingrained in him that we do not know how
Mhm.
much time we have. And that, I
No.
think that's such a
Mm-mm.
blessing that people who have experienced near death or, you know, it's a horrible thing, but it's also a blessing because they really, truly understand and feel that to their core that we don't have an unlimited amount of time.
No.
And
I mean,
and if
even if
you
you yeah.
you can hear it if you
Mhm.
haven't had those experiences, if you haven't lost everything and been at crying on the bathroom floor, like didn't know you'd
Right.
make it to 50, if you know, mine was postpartum depression, just had an emergency
Mhm.
C-section for the first time and I was on the floor laying there going bawling, going, who am I? And
Yeah.
this is after a life very well lived. This was my
Yes.
3rd baby. We'd already traveled however many countries with our 2 older kids. Like, this is a
Mhm.
well-lived life, but still, I'm like, the blinders still had to come off. And it's
Yeah.
like, that's so we're not even we're definitely gonna record another episode because we haven't even talked. Ladies, listen, her book that we keep talking about, Women Waking Up, A Midlife Manifesto for Passion, Purpose, and Play. That title is just,
I
it makes
know.
me just
And it's a pretty
vibrate.
little book.
It
Oh,
is
it's
so beautiful.
backwards.
It makes me vibrate because it is, yes. I read this and I'm like, yes,
Mhm.
yes. And your podcast and everything you talk about, Midlife Makeover Show. And so the book, I will tell all of you because I'm out of time here, but we are definitely going to record again because this book is not just a book. It's not just Wendy
Yeah.
saying, this is what I did.
Right.
It's tools. You have tools
Mhm.
in here. You have a life will. You have the I love you call it the wild. Is it the wild?
Oh, Stay Wild, yeah.
Yes, stay
I think that's the
wild.
last
They're
chapter, actually, yeah.
like designing your future self, boundaries,
Just
small
jam-packed.
changes. It is
Yeah.
jam-packed with the freedom method. Oh my gosh, we haven't even
Mhm.
touched on that. It
There's
is
so much.
so like, oh, we
Oh my
don't even
god.
have enough time for this. It is
Uh,
so much of the things that I, to my core, believe that if you
mhm,
do this work, just like the Revitalized Sisterhood, if you do this work,
mhm, mhm,
you are guaranteed to be happier. You are guaranteed
mhm.
to have purpose. You are guaranteed to have passion, excitement, joy,
Yeah.
all of the wonderful things that I know that you are out there, ladies, sitting on your kitchen floor, bathroom floor, hiding in the
Mhm.
pantry, whatever, wherever your spot is, saying, I want to be her. Have you heard that song, I Want to Be Her So Bad It Hurts So Bad? That new little country
No.
song. So
Uh-uh.
it makes me furious because I'm like, what a horrible message for my daughter. Now I have a daughter, so I hear things like this and I'm like, you want to be another woman so bad that it hurts so bad? No, 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 no. This is how we're going to hear this song from now on. I want to be her so bad.
What's funny
Me,
is when
the
you said that,
woman
that's what I
driving
was
the
thinking.
RV.
Yes, that's actually what
Yes,
I was
I want
thinking
to be
as was.
her so bad it hurts so bad.
Yes.
So if you want to be that woman,
Yeah.
this beautiful, incredible, vibrant version of yourself that is in there, she's in there,
Yes.
let her out,
He's
let her
there.
out.
Mhm.
It has to hurt so bad. Do it. Do
Right.
it. If it's hurting so
And
bad right now, staying the same.
there's only one person standing in her way, and that's you.
Yeah, you.
You have to that's I mean, the
Starts with
biggest thing for
self.
me, yeah, that's what I realized was like, I'm standing in her way. I need to scooch, get out of the way, and let her take over.
Oh,
And
I
she's a
love that.
boss. She is a
She's a
boss.
boss.
And yes,
She's a
thank you
bossy
so
little
much about
boss
the
and we
book. But
love
it's
her.
yeah, it's definitely a how-to book. It's probably 30% of my story and 70% like how to rewrite your own story. But and that's what I wanted, less fluff and more formula because it's great
Yeah.
to hear someone else's story like, "Oh, that's great. She did that. That's wonderful." But how the heck can I do
Good
it?
for you. Good
Good
for
for you.
you.
That's
Not
wonderful,
even good
Wendy.
for you.
Yeah. But you know what? Literally, like when I talked about those 2 years, that's what's in the book. That's exactly when I wrote the book, I was like, "All right, what did I do? How did I become this woman in the driver's seat?" And that's everything I did. I
I
think
love
it
it.
works.
It it it's still working. Still
It's
working.
still working.
We're
Yes,
doing it.
yes.
We're
We're
really
doing it.
doing it.
Yes.
Wendy, thank you so much. I am
Thank you.
so sad that I have to go take my son to volleyball right now. You just wait here for a minute. I'll be right back.
Yeah, just go ahead. Taking me in the
This was
car.
the funnest, most
Thank you.
life-giving conversation. I love it. I love meeting women like you, like me, that are embracing all of these messages and truths. And
Thank you.
we're here for it, right? We're here. We're going to keep
We're
spreading
here.
this message. We're going to keep talking about it loud and proud so that they all hear
Mhm.
it. And we
Yep.
can't get to the end of it and they can't say, but I didn't know. You
You
knew.
didn't tell
We were
me.
here telling you.
Thank you so much. This
Thank
has
you
been awesome. And you're a
so
really good host.
much.
You're
Oh
a
my
great
gosh.
host.
Thank you. I have literally 20 questions here because I'm like, I don't want to miss this. I don't want to miss this. And I'm like, no, just you're too fun.
Whatever.
I couldn't even look down. I couldn't have whatever.
Uh,
So we're doing this again. I'm telling you, I'm
we're doing
jumping
it
into
again. We'll do it
Monica's
again.
emails right now. We're doing this again. I cannot wait for you to come back to the States. Put
Yes.
Utah on your
I know.
itinerary. Come and see
I
me.
know. Yep.
Let's plan it. I'm going to jump
I'm
into your
going East
WhatsApp.
Coast to
Let's
West
plan it.
Coast. So, yep. I know. Oh my
Yeah.
God, that'd be
Good
so much
stuff.
fun.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
And you'll
All
get
right,
to meet,
lady.
you can
Thank
meet
you.
Felicia.
Felicia.
That's the
I can't
RV.
wait to meet Felicia. Ah, I'm like, Felicia. Is that your
I
little
said, bye,
pocket?
Felicia.
Bye, Felicia. I love it. My 11-year-old says that to me all the time. Bye, Felicia. I'm like, yep, yep, yep.
Uh, Is
No
it
kids
time?
interrupted yet. There they are. All right. Okay, lady. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you.